1-800-709-8512. That's 1-800-709-8512, or go to topsyturvy.com.
All right, let's go now to Capitol Hill, where Senator Ted Kaufman of Delaware will join us. Senator, thank you very much for joining us. Listen, I know this was an historic vote. Obviously, it was a big win for the Democratic Party. Do you expect any significant changes to the legislation once it goes back through briefly the Senate?
Oh, yeah. No, I think there's some major changes in the rescission, reconciliation, which will make it a better bill, and I hope it passes quickly. But you're absolutely right, Brian. This is truly historic, passing this bill. I think it ranks up there with Medicare and Social Security as one of the major things we'll look back on and say that was a truly great day when it passed.
What changes would you expect will come through this bill? You may have heard our interview with the CFO, Sally May, say they're going to probably have to lay off 30% of their staff because of the student loan provisions in the bill.
Right. Yeah, when the student loan provisions of the bill is really a separate part of reconciliation. That's to deal with the economic issues, and this was the best way to deal with it. We had planned for almost a year to bring that up in reconciliation. They're just bringing up the two of them together because of some kind of arcane rules regarding reconciliation. But I think everybody's a pretty good consensus that we should do something about educational loans. And I think that right now, if we had not done this, Pell Grants would have fallen from an average of $5,000 to an average like $2,500. Something we had to do.
But it sounds like there could be a few thousand more unemployed in America, at least, maybe briefly in the student loan sector, if that gets done.
Well, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I can understand some people say that, and I'm very concerned because I have Sally May in my state. So I'm very concerned about it. I've worked hard to get this thing straightened out. But if we don't have students, if we had students, they're now getting $5,000 in a Pell Grant, getting $2,500, that would have been a serious problem for the country.
Do you have concerns about the funding aspects of the bill, Senator?
Of health care reform?
Yes.
No, I'm not. Well, concerns, absolutely. I mean, not real concerns, no. I think that right now, it's a bill, it's going to be close to $900 billion, but it's going to have a deficit reduction the first 10 years over $100 billion, and then another $1 trillion in the second 10 years. And Brian, the key to this is not that. The bean counters, the CBO, everybody, Republicans and Democrats, agree that the main things in this bill we can never get scored, and that is all the things we're going to do, the innovations we're going to require to make things work. The innovations allow an outfit like Mayo and Greisinger and these others to have very, very high quality care at very, very low prices. Those are the things that are going to make the really big difference in this bill, in my opinion.
And I think that's what makes it hard for a lot of people to square. I was just talking to my parents yesterday, my mom, she's sort of my arbiter of good questions, was just, how do we give 30 million more people access to health insurance? Right. We know doctors are, falling off. They're just getting older and fewer people are entering the profession. And yet we're going to promise better care. How are all those things possible?
Brian, it's almost impossible to do it any other way. For instance, right now, you have a situation where people can get denied coverage because of pre-existing conditions. You have things where people can have their health insurance taken away because they're sick. The only way to close that gap is to get the additional 30 million people in. That's the only way to get all the health care costs in one pocket so we can get after them and actually cut them. And if we do not cut the health care costs, and I'm not talking about cutting people's benefits, we're not going to be cutting people's Medicare benefits. What we're going to be doing is bending the cost curve, bringing it down, so that right now, 61% of all personal bankruptcies because of medical costs. In my state, we forecast that right now a family, of course, pays $13,000 for health insurance. By 2016, it'll be up to $29,000. That's the real concern. How do we get costs under control, and how to provide it? We bring the 30 million in, then we can control their costs. And as you know, Brian, right now, those 30 million, they get health care, but many times they get it in the emergency room, they get it long after, they don't have any prevention. So this is a good way to bring health care costs down. That's my primary interest in the bill.
Senator, I want to move on to financial regulatory reform. What is going to be the future of Chris Dodd's bill? What will happen with financial regulatory reform?
Well, Brian, I've been around this place for 23 years, and I've taught about it for 20 years. Anybody can tell you what's going to happen with this bill. I wouldn't listen to them too closely. I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows. Right now, I think there's been a basic decision to bring it to the floor, to get it moving, and bring it to the floor, and then it'll be amended. And it all depends on how the votes go on these amendments.
Will it pass as you know it to be, Senator?
I have no idea. And I'm saying I've spent years studying this thing and teaching about it. Anyone who tells you they know whether it's going to pass should be tried for malpractice. What we're going to do is we're going to find out. We're going to go to the floor. The Senate's an incredible place, and then the Senate will work its will.
Okay. Senator Ted Kaufman of Delaware. Senator, thank you very much for joining us again on Fox
Brian.
Business. Yes, sir.
Hey, Brian, thanks.
All right,
for
take
having
care.
me.
All right, and coming up in the 1 o'clock Eastern Time hour, Fair and Balanced, we're going to talk to the other side of the aisle, Republican Congressman Dave Camp.